game that takes this genre to the next level. This is an open network online experience where every club, every opponent you play against is managed and operated by another player, by another person. It's your tactics, it's your wit, it's your squad against your opponents. MFL seasons normally run for around 6 weeks, so this isn't a game that comes out every new football season that you need to go and buy a new copy of. So there's never a bad time to open your account and get your club up and running. The only thing you need to buy or to pay for to get up and running to play MFL is your club. You can buy a club pack from MFL directly and it will randomly generate where your club is located, what city and in what country. One of the ways MFL takes this game to the next level is every player you own, you're actually their agent. So any players that you own that you're not going to use in your own squad, you can list on the market for loan, where they can go into another squad, and in return you'll get a percentage, you'll get a cut of any of the prize money that those players help those clubs to win. Sign up by using the link that's in the description of this video or in the pinned comment. You'll directly support me and all the content here at the channel, but by doing so you guarantee yourself the best sign up bonuses available. Here we go. We're live and we're loud, guys. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. And Jesus, what a good couple of days it's been. What a couple of weeks it's been. It's went by in the blink of an eye. And would you believe it? I'm still struggling to get my voice back after the derby action we had this weekend. But we're live. Excuse me. We're live and we're here to tackle a little bit of progression update, a little bit of tactics and engine analysis on what we've seen so far in Season 5 on MFL. We're going live to hit this one out today. So for everyone that's joining us live and loud, thanks very much to all of you guys. Let me just fix my camera a wee bit. And yeah, if you're watching this after we're live, of course, make sure to jump into the comment section. Let me know thoughts and feelings. And let me know how you're getting on this year as well, because I've seen a lot of mixed responses around success, projected success, not really going the way you would want it to. I've certainly felt that myself. And I had some interest in tactics and plans of attack coming into this season. I think the last proper video we did was the progression based one. That was got a great reception, great response from that, and all you guys that tuned into it seemed to enjoy it. If you haven't caught that, I highly recommend you do, because progression is normally one of the big talking points that we've got in and around the MFL community, in and around the game itself, because optimizing your players, optimizing your team, your tactics, it's all a part of the fun, isn't it? It's all a big part of the hook that gets us going on this game. So let me know how you've been tackling it. Did your plans, are they panning out quite okay? Have they went against what your expectations were? Are you exceeding expectations? I've heard some good bits about that as well. And what season did the MFL retirement change? Tatos is asking in the chat. I think it was midway through Season 4. Somebody said in one of the chats when we were looking at this that player IDs from 70,000 and above was kind of like the mark. So if your player ID is before that, you've got a really good chance. If it's below 60,000, I think it's quite nailed on, quite safe. But around February is when they done it. So I think that was midway through Season 4 or Season 3 maybe. But around then, buddy. Club Z, Toxic Lightning, good to see you. Charlie Dunbar, Sam D, it's been a while, good to see you. And ERTAVFC, fist bump to you as well. Thanks a lot for joining us. There's a lot of you here today, which is good to see. A nice little kind of earlier stream in the day as well. Wednesdays are really busy for me when I get to the PM with kids and life and football and all sorts of other stuff. Champions League tonight as well should be good crack. So I thought let's just get this one up and running a little bit earlier. Now, normally I do record these things, and when I do record, I can take a pause for the cause. I can take my breath and then think about where to start and where to go next and all that good stuff. When we do it live, the main benefit for me is having some of you guys involved in the chat as well. So good to see you all with questions, with contributions. Fist bumps are always good as well. Love to see it. So good to see you all joining us here, and I'm looking forward to seeing your interactions and what you have been finding and feeling and finding is maybe the 2 Fs that we're focusing on here. So there, Barra, good to see you as well. And Club Z, yeah. So I'll hopefully shed a bit of light on. Sadly, I'm not mastermind on this. I'm not playing at all levels of the game, and I'm not testing stuff out relentlessly. But yeah, I'm happy to go through things that I've been doing, things that I've found out to be true or to be difficult, and everything else in between. So I do think tactics is probably one of the best places to start, because I think for most of us, we've had a bunch of games already. Now, the last game that we had actually live on the channel, where we're live for Go Fuck Friday, And we had Nep, Monkey, McBride, Charlie. If there was somebody else, I'm forgetting, but I think that was it. I think there was 5 of us. And their goals rained in on Friday night against Hags Volksbowl School. So we really much enjoyed that. And this game really made me feel a lot better about my tactics, about my players, because this was the first game where it kind of felt like last season a little bit. We went 2 up top, the goals rained in. And again, I think something we should probably have available for context for my fixture, certainly, is the projections that we had at the beginning of the season. So I'm just going to fire that up real quickly just for a little bit of context here. So I haven't actually looked at it. Oh, I've not actually looked at it since. So I'll show you what we've seen first of all, right? So when you go into mflmanager.fr/projections, we had this pre-season, and this was the kind of the lay of the land. We were in 6th, yada yada, whatever, right? And then since then, they've taken another snapshot on the 28th of April. Now, I've not actually checked this, to be honest with you, okay? But it's updated since the transfer window and, all that kind of stuff. There may be been our snapshot later on in the year, but this is what we're getting for now. So, as you can see, Bankers, Geneva, Marvelous City, top 2 teams. And then this one, Wolf Team, is rebranded to Florianopolis. They've only got 14 players on their books, but their averages are really good for only 14, but obviously spreading that across 16 is maybe what pulls them a little bit further down. But in any case, Nexus, Arabia, Solaris, myself, Edinburgh, all quite similar strength lineups. And coming into this season, I was saying, like, how tight this league is incredible. If you look at the best 16 averages, like for me, 77.7 down to probably, round about even the 75 mark. That's a very narrow field there across 16 players, talking about 2 points difference essentially. So very, very narrow, very competitive. Hags Volleyball School, as you can see there, down in second bottom. So it was good to get a convincing victory against them, which was fun. But prior to this, we'd had our first couple of games. We'd had Marvelous City and we had Arabia, which we'd got good wins in. The Marvelous City one I was really pleased with because they were ranked a top team. And as you can see in the second snapshot there, they're actually the second best team. So a high value home win. And, I came into this season trying, I spent a bit of time, I'm kind of all over the place, but this should kind of come together in a moment, right? And we'll go over the results that we've not really covered here on the channel yet, right? But I, in the pre-season, was talking about, and we did a lot of content on it, about the gauntlet that I was running. So throughout my 4 previous seasons playing MFL, I've came across difficult opponents in the league and difficult opponents in the cup that I've really struggled to get the better of. And I've got that yardstick of, like how good I was 2 seasons ago, how good I was last season, and the difficulties I had facing these teams. And I had 3 of them: Southern Fire, FC Heat, and Castilla. And as you can see here, I was just relentlessly running the gauntlet against these teams. I don't even know how many friendlies I played. In total, it's a lot. And what I was doing this entire time was I was testing out tactics. Okay, so what I would do, I'll just recap this kind of quickly, right? But what I was doing is I would run whatever tactic I was trying to test out at some point. Let's go to the Triple H formation, which isn't really Triple H anymore because we've got Vandy in now. So he's not, it used to be Hosney, Herbst, and Hanka. So that was my Triple H midfield, but it's not that anymore. So anyway, I would run this formation and I would play all 3 of those teams until I felt like I'd got this shape to be competitive or even beat them over. You've seen how many friendlies I played there? A lot, okay? But it would be like, have the tactics the way I want them, play everyone once, make an alteration, play everyone once again, so on and so forth. Is kind of how it ran, okay? And then from there, once I felt I'd nailed that tactic, I then went into, I think Iron Jose was the second tactic I've tried to kind of formulate and trying to get good player instructions for. Do I have the balance in the squad to carry it? And I did the same thing. And ultimately, I ended up with like 3.5 tactics out of this that I had trained and I had prompted throughout the preseason. Now, the Brew 3 was Iron Brew, was how this tactic initially started. That's the diamond shape there with 2 up front. That's what we played last year. So we've kind of got that already worked on and it's already kind of refined. And we're just trying to add better players into it and then tweak it to optimize the better players. So now I'm sitting with 4 tactics here. 3.5 of them have been fully worked out. except for the rotation strategy, which appears here again as Coppa, because I've just now had like the cup squad where I've had a balance of rotation guys and rotating in and out first team players. So the tactics obviously have to fit your team. Number one, the players, the positions they cover, etc. But there's so many dynamics, and we did. What was the video? Let me go and find it, because I did spend a good bit of time discussing it might have been a members video. It was, right. So if you're a channel member, let me go and find it. I'll show you it, right. But if you're a channel member, we actually did a hardcore kind of tactic session. I kind of showed you everything I do for building a tactic, for tweaking a tactic. Was it a stream or a video? Let me just put MFL in. And then we're looking for that member visibility. There it is. MFL Tactics 101. It's on for an hour and 15 minutes, so it's a fucking good one, I'll tell you that. And we go right into it. Can I just jump around a wee bit? Yeah, and I think we show some of the stuff actually panning out in terms of the overall rating. Sharp, yeah, dick. In terms of tactics and, you know, how I was trying to compose the squad, balance the squad, etc. And it's a great watch if you're really struggling with MFL tactics. There should be some stuff in that that'll help you in terms of like building the tactics from the ground up, or being able to kind of problem solve, firefight. What's the word I'm looking for? You know, when you like debug, debug your tactics essentially. Then I highly recommend checking that out. The membership is £1 a week, £4 a month. We will do more MFL content around that. And actually, just on a little side note, for season 6, we're going to have an FC Barcelona community team 100%. We've got a club pack sitting, waiting there to be opened and branded. We're going to get a second club license, or a third one, sorry. So we'll have 3 teams for next season. One of them will be a community team. It's going to be really competitive as well, guys, because FC Barcelona, we're here to win. And the community team is just the same. We probably won't start off in Spark. We'll probably buy a club off the secondary market and yada yada. Anyway, that's for another day. But in any case, a lot of bang for buck on the member section of the channel. If you're an MFL player only, we're working on more stuff to be there. But there's a lot of Sorare stuff, obviously, that we do, as well as a Telegram group, which is just like Discord and WhatsApp had a baby. And it's way better than both those things anyway. And everything else. So anyway, you can check out the members tab. Everything's explained there. There's a join button just below the video. Again, click on that. YouTube will explain it to you. In any case, so I went through that in a lot more detail. Feel free to check that out if you. Oh, sorry, I got a response there. As some of you guys know, whether it's serious or not, let's see how it pans out, right? But Celtic were advertising for a first team analyst job, and I applied for it, and I got an email there that had CV is like one of the things, and it was just a bit of spam. But I was like, oh, is that Celtic? Can they come and get us to do all this stuff for them, perhaps? But no, just a bit of spam. So I've kind of lost my train of thought. I beg your pardon there. But yeah, so I'd worked on all those tactics. We did the kind of workshop MFL Tactics 101 video to try and show how I kind of flesh it out. Because one thing that I've heard a lot of people say, and just like conversations, podcast streams, videos, or whatever, is it makes it sound like they're picking formations quite flippantly. Like, see, at this stage of the season, I don't want to try a new formation. I don't want to try and work something new out. Now, you can always just play friendlies to your blue in the face, even though we're in season, but you can't change your players. So you are quite restricted to how versatile you can be down to the players you've actually got. And I think I've done quite a good job of covering the bases here. Because as you can see, like, with some of the tactics we loaded up there a second ago, if we look at that Triple H formation, we've got Hosni in here, right? But otherwise, look at the team. And then if I go to this other one, Iron Jose, Hanka comes in for Hosni. 10 other players stay the same. 2 totally different formations that do 2 totally different things for me. And again, if we look at the Brew 3, it's, again, Herbst drops out. And Massa comes in, so we go 2 up top. But again, it's the same players overall. So that's kind of how I look at tactics in general, is I don't find them as a flippant thing where I want to, you know, just like, oh, my tactics aren't working, so let me just go and find another random formation out of this list and see if I can make it work, and then go and take on my next league opponent tonight. Because That just sounds like a recipe for disaster. So anyway, this season, in every season, the engine has changed. It has iterated. It has evolved down to the feedback and processes of everything that they've been building on the platform. Season on season, as it were. So every time we come into a new season, there is some new stuff that does come in to the engine itself. Now, as you can see from the first 3 games that we had here, let's just open these links individually so that we can look at them all. I'm trying my best to rotate teams and tactics here. As we can see, Diamond, the Iron Jose. Oh, sorry. As we can see, the Diamond formation here against Hags Votable School. The game before that, we played the Iron Jose, and I'm not going to tell you why I've picked these or anything like that, obviously. And then the first game of the season, we've went with the Triple H. So I've tried to, in the first 3 games, optimize to some extent, whether that be rotation, tactics versus the opposition, strengths that the formation gives me, etc. And throughout these 3 games alone, like Marvelous City, like 1-3 now, looking back at it, is very good, it's very fun. It was a really tight game, and we said at the time, the real difference in this was I took my chances and he didn't, ultimately. For Arabia, again, a very similar game. XG, very similar. We've beaten 2-1 with a different shape and a very, very tight match. And with Hags Votable School, the XG was, he actually had more XG than you would have maybe thought, looking at the scoreline. But we were very much the better team there. We were much more convincing. But again, with these 3 teams, again, we've got to flavour that against where they are. Hags are down second bottom. Arabia right in amongst it with me. So that's like quite a comparable team. And Marvelous City are not really that much better than us, like 0.7 across 16 player average. Like there's not much in it. So very, very tight games. Okay. Now, where it evolved for me and where it always gets stuck for me over the seasons is when you play better teams, right? Because that's really when, like, you're hoping the tactics can make the difference. That's when you're hoping the decisions you're making, the individual instructions, what players you're bringing in, what formation you're playing, can hopefully narrow the margins and maybe make it a bit more competitive. Now, as you'll see here, Florianopolis, who are undefeated, sitting top at the moment, and Bankers Geneva, we lost both of those games very narrowly, 1 each. Now, I can see the chat is flying away. I'll come into the chat and pick up on this in terms of questions and whatever in a moment. But what I found when I played these 2 teams here is I really felt like I wasn't getting much of a shot, and I kind of did feel in the other games that chances weren't aplenty, but we were converting. This game here, like, we didn't get chances at all. We really struggled. And this formation here did so well against Marvelous City, I'm sure it was, who, again, very high rated team. If we look at those NEP statistics, those overviews, 79, 78, 77. Whereas Florianopolis here, 81, 80, 80. So he's actually significantly better on the other guy, it must be said. I found this quite funny, right? Because one of the last teams I coached, I had a guy called McGuigan, who was a great box-to-box CDM. And when I seen a McGuigan and CDM there with good dribbling and passing and stuff, I thought, oh, there's Gwiggs. There's Gwiggs. Good to see that. But I did feel that there was just no chances coming. So that made me kind of scratch my head a little bit, like, are my team actually good enough? Am I actually going to have a bit of a problem this year? And am I going to, maybe have to try and call Nasser back or try and reinforce my ranks in some way? We followed that up with the next game against Bankers Geneva. And if we look at their overview stats, 78, very comparable to my own in a lot of ways. And again, if we look at the MFL projectors, they're actually ranked as the top team, which is weird. They've only got 15 players. They only had 15 players at the snapshot. So that might be something that holds them back as time goes on. But again, looking at the XG, we actually did a little bit better. So that was a bit frustrating because we never really got the shots on target, only 1. And that was probably the difference ultimately. So I don't think his keeper was too scary. Yeah, 79. So I did feel personally that goal scoring chances are harder to convert. But I'm also kind of flavouring that a little bit if I can look at the squad. And then let's go to the table view. Now, this is a nice little bit of housekeeping that I've did a few times during the transfer window, and I tried to remedy it with Vandy. Vandy's actually been a big player for me. I'm so glad I did this earlier in the year. But what I started doing towards one point of the preseason coming into this is rank my players on individual stats and see how I'm doing. So if I look at shooting, which is my number one like, oh, that's not doing too good for me this year. I would like it if we were doing a bit better or whatever. You'll see something quite stark or quite startling. So Lecoq or Massa are two strikers or get good finishing, obviously. We've got the boy Vandy on 75. But then we've got a backup left mid on 71, and then everyone else, their finishing sucks. Like by comparison and for the level, you know. So if I had better shooting across the board, I would have probably done a little bit better. Because one thing I do think that comes into the equation with this is like, if you do check out that progression video, you'll see that the way the white paper describes the XP and all the rest of it is it looks at it as like an overview of like the season. You know, did they have a seasonal average on their match rating of 7.5, a 7, of 8, of 6.2 over the match, over the season? Did they play in over 80% of matches? So as you'll see when you look at that MFL tactics video, and what I'm thinking when I'm evaluating it now at this stage, of course, is I do think MFL, as much as it is going to simulate the games one on one, who I've got versus who you've got, or shapes or instructions, whatever. I also do think for some of the individual players, it already maybe kind of has a bit of a pre-programmed set of outcomes on the season. Like if this guy plays all the time, he'll score 20 goals. If he plays 4 times, he'll score 2 goals. You know, that sort of thing. So like last year, for example, with Nasser, we had a good example of this. If I can go and look at him real quickly to show you this, because it'll probably demonstrate what I'm trying to verbalize a little bit better here, right? So if we look at his season last year, if this will, hopefully this isn't too clunky to load back. It's not terrible. It's not great. We'll get it there in a second, right? So stone to iron, right? So playoff iron, iron, right? So Nasser got 2 goals in the first game of the season and then went 1, 2, 3, 4 games without scoring at all against, you know, some decent teams and some weaker teams. He then scores 7 and 3, 10. Oh, he then goes on a mad heater again, you know. So, and that's him in silver now. Got his first goal last night. Beautiful. Good to see that. But yeah, when I looked at this, when I was kind of remembering back to this, I remember there was a period where it did feel like he wasn't scoring, he wasn't doing well. But ultimately, I do feel that he was on the cards for however many goals he got across the season, and they came the way they came. You know, they didn't come as an average of 1 or 2 every match. Some games he blanked, some games he rinsed it, and I think that's kind of a little bit of what I've been suffering with goal scoring opportunities a little bit. But I also think that kind of seasonal overview of maybe the engine doing a bit of like overview work is determined on the squad as well. So if it sees my squad, if we look at these types of averages here, if the engine thinks about my squad in these same terms, my finishing over my best 11 and over my best 16 is probably one of the worst in the division, I would hazard a guess at. And that's maybe why I might struggle to score more goals. And I think sometimes I've seen teams that do really well defensively. If we look at the table here, Florianopolis has only conceded 2 goals. I've conceded 4. I was really hoping to keep my defensive record a lot leaner this year. Good start so far, but we're not the top defence in the league after 6 games. As teams that have done really well, they've had a good goalkeeper, but maybe like the whole team has got like a good average defence rating across the board. So I do think there's some elements of the team overall standing, quality, kind of thing that does come into it. So in terms of tactics, I've had 3.5, 4 tactics, depending on how you want to think of it, kind of prepared and ready to go for the season. And I think I've did an okay job of like optimizing my players in it. And I think overall, like, you know, losing narrowly 1-0 to the 2 top of the table teams, we then highly rotated for the cup. We lost 2-0. I kind of regretted this, to be honest with you, but I had to. I felt I had to anyway. It was a good time to rotate, and it was really narrow. We could have done a little bit better. The XG, again, just wasn't there, and it was making me question some of the backup guys, especially. But then we had the next cup game. We did less rotation, and again, I was finding the same problems where I didn't really feel we were getting that many goal-scoring opportunities, although the XG in this game would have you think otherwise. We should have done a little bit better in this one. I think we should have won it, but we missed a few chances. Which is some poor finishing from the kind of second string, as it were. But we got a wee draw, which was fine. And then last night we played Solaris Drifters and we got back on the horse, as it were. A nice wee 2-0 win, got the goals rapid. And ultimately it was okay. But again, XG very low for me and very low for him, and bearing in mind when we look at how tight the league is, Solaris Drifters is like comparable with me, very comparable, much less players on the snapshot here, but it's quite comparable. So I think as a general thing, this engine is harder to score on, personally. Now, every league, every club will be slightly different situations and scenarios that will dictate that slightly differently. My league is super tight, so I actually think it's quite a good example league for like competitive MFL. Where there's not like one team. And I know this team that I was flying, right, but that snapshot did say they've got like bugger all players. So let's check if that's still the case. They're up to 19 players now, so they have a wee bit more rotation than what's on that snapshot, but point still remains with the bottom end's actually quite high, so they'll be probably a-okay. But without one team being mad dominant, and maybe there's a team or two that are a bit weaker, right? But this whole league is super tight, and I think when you've got tight competition is when you feel the margins on the tactics, which is why you can do random friendlies if you want. You can just go in here and do a random one and go for it. But that's why I really enjoyed doing those that gauntlet that I built myself, of those teams that I know what they're made of. I know how good I was against them before, and I know that they're a good yardstick for me to compete against for the league I'm currently in. It's set me up well because I'm hoping, like with that kind of instance, that train with world champions and then go and take on, semi-professionals. Essentially, is kind of the vibe I'm thinking of with that. You train with the best and then you go back to doing your thing and you kind of lift your level appropriately as a result. So I know Jay in the Telegram group is absolutely having a mare. He was projected to be the strongest team and is absolutely struggling right now. And I heard someone else in the Telegram group who is top of their league and they were projected to be like lower mid-table or something like that. So I do think the tactics are making a difference here. But I do think ultimately it's a harder engine to get scoring on. It's a harder engine to, just smash goals in unless it is a super dominant situation here. And because the tactics are maybe a bit of a margin now, a bit of a difference maker, like if you do play like against the Solaris Drifters, I did this yesterday with the members before, or we did the Sorare AMA thing. We recorded that live with the members. That'll be out on the channel for subscribers at 3:00 today, UK time. So stay tuned for that. Highly recommend it, by the way, because I've not heard anyone's takes be like my takes yet from the Nicholas Julia AMA. So I highly recommend you check that out, of course. But we looked at Solaris Drifters and they had two formations they could play. And for any of the two formations I was likely to play, neither one of his options would have worried me because I had different strengths and I was confident already because of the work I'd done that I could combat tactically what he was going to do in the game. And although his ratings are definitely nothing to turn your nose up at for the level, are mine better? Yeah, they probably are across the board here. Especially Kasasi makes a big difference at 83. The goalkeeper, we purposely brought him in above the level to help us a bit. But the midfield is super good, and we've got a striker with the captain's armband. We're expected to win a game like this, and we did. So yeah, I think the tactics is like the main difference here in those tighter situations. And my whole league is super tight, so it's something that I'm going to really enjoy bobbing and weaving with, being unpredictable, mixing up a little bit, as well as having to keep those rotations coming. Chat is flying away, guys, so let me catch up with that. Sam D, 4-1-2-1 narrow seems to be the most robust and reliable formation. Now, that was our formation last year. I've only used it once this year. I don't mind it. What's kind of holding me back is my second striker option is frustrating, to say the least. But I've seen a fair few people quite enjoy it. Now, I think the thing with the four, like, let's just call it the diamond shape, right? Diamonds are forever. Is that, like, you don't have width. You don't have wide players, obviously, but depending on how you structure your team tactics and your individual tactics, controlling the ball is so important, like not giving the ball away to your opponent through free kicks or just like wild passes that get intercepted and stuff like that is very valuable. And if you can have four centre mids in this kind of formation, you've got a bit of attack support. You've got two up top, which, I play other tactics where I've got one up top and you really feel that guy's by himself. You really do. So I do think there's a little bit of meta, perhaps, for 2 up top at the moment. So I think there's maybe a little bit of that, Sam D. I'm with you there. And I think like the formation is just good because if you're playing against 3 centre mids, you're going to control the middle ground probably most of the time, depending on individuals and tactics. If they have wide players and maybe there's 2 centre mids, maybe it's like a diamond, like a left mid, right mid, attack mid, defensive mid, you're going to be well positioned to kind of combat that. So that's why I played it last year, because it just felt that it's quite robust is the word you've used. I'd probably go with that as well. The 5-2-3 is something I played last year. And what you've said there exactly, Sam, is something I heard from Doge Sports over the weekend. So that's interesting that tactic, that philosophy is kind of permeating throughout the community. But I like that formation. The problem with it is it's wingbacks, and wingbacks can be really difficult to get good ones in for. It's not, and again, that's one that like, if it's like, oh, things aren't working, change this from, if you've not got wingbacks, you can't do that. If you don't have good centre mids, if you're a good centre mids are actually defensive mids or attacking mids, it's not going to optimize well for you. If your wingers are left mid, right mid, you're maybe then playing the 5-4-1 flat shape, which is not the same, and then maybe has different connotations and consequences and whatever. But yeah, I like that shape as well. But you need the wing backs for it. Rob C, afternoon, mate. Been a slow season for me so far in terms of progression. Not sure if they made changes, but progress seems slow at the moment. Rob, you've probably seen it, but if you haven't already, please do catch the progression video. But the thing with progression, guys, is not everyone progresses. That's very likely. And the PenFest said something similar on his own content within the last couple of days, but it's more than likely your guy is going to do +1 to +4 over their entire career. Now, that's the average player, probably the majority player. So yeah, not everyone progresses all the time, and it's not linear either, of course. We'll get on to that in a little second, Rob. That's a great segue for the second thing I wanted to tackle on the show today in terms of progression. And Sam D has became a member. Thanks very much, my man, for the support. Thanks for picking up your season ticket. Good to see you, Sam. And hopefully you enjoy the tactics video. I'm sure that's probably one of the reasons you've taken your season ticket up. Yeah, thanks very much, mate. Really appreciate the support. Without you guys on the channel, we couldn't do any of this stuff, so I love it. Prime JBF, that's a new name to me. Fist bump to you. Thanks for joining the show today. Might be a dumb question, but if I buy the club pack from the store, there'll be no players in it. So when you get your club pack, it is just the club that's in it. Now, sometimes you get like a free sign-up bonus where you'll get a player pack with it and that sort of thing. There's not anything like that on at the moment, but they probably will do it for mid-season. So if you haven't bought your club pack yet, steady on, keep your powder dry perhaps, and maybe wait for a promotion before you do it. But no, it's just the club that comes in here. And then you need to go and get your players loaned in and stuff like that. If you are new to MFL Prime JBF, where's the best way of showing this? I'll probably just use this. It's the same description I use for all the videos, right? But when you're on the video, if you actually look at the description part, I've not actually got it in this live stream, sorry. I'll go and get it for the one that we're on the now, sorry. But how did I open this again? Now, we'll be doing a wee bit of this this will be like one of those infinite mirror situations. But this is the stream we're on the now, right? Oh, one of those. Hit the description here, MFL Beginners Guide. All these free videos, mate, if you watch them, you'll know everything you need to know to get up and going. And there we go. We're in the infinite mirror. I want to see if this works. So let's see us scroll up and let's see how. Ooh. And then let's wait for that one to scroll up. Ooh. That was fun. I'm easily amused. There we go. Player ID retirement switch. So if your player ID is lower than that, they will probably have a longer career. Probably. Great chat as well for you guys helping out and stuff like that. I was projected 4th in Stone, currently 6 out of 6 wins and clear top. Love that, Rob. Love that. Keep it going, mate. And I think it was you that was chatting about that in the Telegram group. And yeah, of course, Super Kicker Cards. Thanks very much for the shout. But yeah, guys, please do smash the like button. Just means we might find some more MFL managers to come and hang out with us today, and we can have a bit more fun in the live chat. Rico Man's in the house. Good to see you. And so is 420 somewhere. Love it, mate. Good to see you. Surprised you're not watching Axom at this time of day. 433 doing bits for me. My striker has 14 goals and 3 assists. Wow, that is incredible. Enrico Man has got the left back progression of dreams, plus 16 in 3 seasons. Josh, good to see you, mate. Thoroughly enjoyed catching up with some of your videos. Certainly the beginner mistakes one. Had a lot of fun with that one. I don't know if you did another one since, but that was great. Thanks for joining us today, buddy. Well, always interested to hear your thoughts and feelings, Josh. A very high thinker on the game. Younger players who were flying last season have just now, maybe it's not linear, mate. It's not linear. So, like, let's say your young guys last season progressed +3. Maybe their max is +6, but their peak age is 28. So, the balance of what's left might be 3 seasons away. And it could be what Josh has said here, that maybe they've primed out. Michael Cairns, good to see you. Unbeaten across the first 8. Ice Team 12. That the league. Ice 12. I feel like I should know the name of the club. They're projected, is it maybe Rill? If it is this league. Patron Saints, that's one of that's that's Laird's squad. Isn't it? Well done, mate. Love that. Up the crew. Up the crew. Oh, Carmarthen crew. And there we go. 20 players. I like that as well. Getting to that 20 mark. And yeah, that's what I mean, man. Like, your best 16 is 63.6. Across 16 players, like, yeah, 5 is maybe a bit, right? But I don't think it's that bad. So that's good to hear, man. Love to hear people are smashing it. I had a season where I was smashing right at the beginning. I think it was last year, wasn't it? And I just didn't manage my rotation well in the second half of the year. And that's maybe something we can talk about as well in a stream or two further down the road or whatever, because I'll be doing something similar again. It probably takes us quite nicely onto progression since we're kind of chatting about that now, right? But after I did that, or in advance of doing that progression video, or preparing for it is probably the best way of putting it. I'd already made my mind up that coming into this season, I was after prime age players. I want guys that are going to deliver. I want guys, and this is something I was talking about with Dodge Sports when we met up at the weekend, is that, with the way MFL is structured and everything they've kind of told us and what's detailed in the white paper, I'm quite confident there is, like, I don't know what the word would be, a stat or a mechanic or an element or whatever, where younger players will be more inconsistent than older players, generally. Like, maybe a wee bit of headcanon for me. I'm maybe making it up in my head a little bit. But nonetheless, I wanted guys that were prime, peak, ready, hot to trot guys. And my progression so far this year has been quite surprising in a big way, because if I look at, like, let's just do current season. This includes agency as well. So we'll maybe, actually, screw the agency for a second. Let's just look at my squad. And we'll look at it for this, because this is probably the most important part. Progression for the season. So Kolar, we'll talk about him in a second, right? But Issa Vandy, this guy I wanted to bring in, centre mid, left mid. He had great stats already. You can see the progression he's had is lovely, by the way. Physicals went up, shootings went up, dribbling has went up, and he has went up from 78 to 79 at the age of 29. After a season of progression, or a career of progression that looked like this, where maybe he'd probably topped out. We've got another little dot out of him. Can he get to 80? I'm not too sure. But the big thing that's kicked him on is his performance, because over 6 games, 7.1 average. Training's been good for him and stuff like that, but he's been in good training environments before. 2 goals, 3 assists in the first 6 games is probably one of the better spells he's had in his career from when I've looked at his seasonal overview stats and whatever. So at 29, he's been a big progressor. Also, at 29 years of age, Big Jerry has hit the tier breaker. We've got our second tier breaker, in the primary squad, and the guys that we're hustling with and we're trying to advance with. He's only had the wee improvement in his dribbling, but that's enough to tick him up over. And this is a guy that's had, like, not that great progression, you must say, for the most part. But then, since moving to my team, And to my level, it's maybe been better for him, and he's now reaching the peak of his powers. But again, 29, improving and tier breaking. Faustino, we brought him in as a 26-year-old. Yeah, so we had him at 26 last year. He was rated 70. He's rated 27 now. And I'm hoping that he's going to get to like 28, 29, still progressing. He gets a +1 at centre back because I don't play him as right wing back, obviously. But this guy is a monster stat man. So physical 59, pathetic. Passing 61, borderline. Dribbling 65, borderline. But 82 pace, 82 defence. At centre back. It's been very powerful for me. And his progression at centre back has been way better than the progression he had when he was at right wing back before I bought him. So that's just been good to see. A little bit of a Brazilian terrier in there. And at 27, again, continuing to progress. Ivanov, a 26-year-old that I brought in to be the understudy to Faustino. He's played a few games, and look at his progression this season. Not just a +1 on the overall, but almost a +1 on every stat, which is nice at 26 as well. Again, I'm thinking about prime age. Is a prime age for a centre-back likely to be 26? Especially, like, when did this guy birth in? 22? It's very likely to be 28, as we've seen in the examples that we see on the white paper. So I've had good success with the older guys, as it were, and we've had some individual stats move up in a few different places for some of the other guys. Again, Wagner, 30 years old. Shootings went up. Physicals went up. Maybe this is his last 20% he's picking up as he's coming out of prime age, perhaps. But it's good to see he's still picking little bits up. And then we've had Hanka, the tanker. After his tier breaker, he's improved a little bit. And that's all well and good. But I thought in terms of progression, it's been really good to see that the actual team performances has been quite an indicator on the older players that actually progress. I think that maybe a lot of their training XP is probably quite baked in at this point. And then for those guys that get into prime age, they have to be playing. They have to be playing well, I think, is the way I'm kind of feeling about it now. And Collar is, honestly, I love this signing. I'd love to buy him for permanent if at all possible. But this is a guy I got in on loan who birthed in midway through last year, had not played one match on MFL before signing for FC Barcelona. And already this guy has been an absolute killer. He's been up +1, passing +2, their stats, shooting and physical, whatever. But if we look at his performance, 6 games, average of 7, again, 2 goals, 3 assists. Got a red card as well, which maybe took his rating down on one of the matches, but he's been a real breath of fresh air. But if I can show you something really cool, right? Because when I'm doing these tactics, right, and I'm playing around with it, what I'm constantly like stress testing is the versatility on the better players, right? Because if we think about these averages, the best 16 is probably the most, it sounds like a stupid thing, right? But it's probably the only part, the main part of your squad that's going to make the difference. If you've got a squad of 20, 21, whatever the max is, 25 or whatever, cool. But you're not going to use all 22, 25 players as regularly as the best 16. It's probably the best way of summing that up, right? So I've been constantly stress testing that best 16, what shapes can work, what shapes are available, etc. And I've ended up with left mid, right mids for this year. Now, one of the players that we packed with our rewards from last year, I've still not actually showed the pack opening yet. I'm really sorry about that, guys. But he's not here. He'll be in this page. But we got our first ever Scottish first owner card, Harry Livingston. Now, at centre mid, he actually gets a massive points reduction. So I wasn't interested in keeping him just for keeping his sake, ultimately in the end. So we've loaned him out. And we'll look at what he's done this season. So I think he's been very effective so far. But he's a left winger. And as soon as I've got him in, maybe I can't use him. Maybe you're in a situation like this where you've had to loan a really good guy out because they didn't fit your tactics, or maybe they're above the league that you're in, or whatever it could be, whatever reason. But now that I've got him and I want him, I need a right winger, right? So I'm very keen on watching, let's do performance. So Livingston, 7 games, 7.4 rating, 3 goals, 2 assists. And he's in the same level that I'm in. He's playing in Iron at the moment within our club. So that's just brilliant to see. Very encouraging, very exciting. And if we look at progression for this page here across the agency for the current season, we've not had anyone break above a +1 yet. So I'm kind of with you on the sentiment of maybe progression is a little bit tamer than what it's been before, perhaps. But maybe some of the players just got a bit more of a bump this season. Or, like I mentioned before, when you look at the white paper and you listen to that, the way they factor in like playing 80% of the games will get you X amount of XP. There is obviously like an overview kind of like checkpoint to hit, So at this point in the season, like some of these guys have played 80% of available matches so far. Some of them haven't, So I think there's maybe a bit of the micro 80-60% vibe, and then there's the whole seasonal thing. And I think you'll see progression come in spurts rather than it being a consistent thing. And again, they've said on the record that progress is not linear. It will be kind of based on form and age and that sort of stuff. But yeah, these are all the main progressors that we have, and most of them are out on loan. Some of them are in our squad that we've mentioned already. A few of them are in Dev Center. But if you've got a really keen eye, there's a new name here that you won't have seen before. Now, I just thought this was a shrewd bit of business, but this actually might be turning into a bit of a masterstroke because, as you guys will remember from the preseason, I wanted to go and do all my business really early. And I think the main mistake I did was doing all of my outgoing business before rollover day. Between season 5 and 6, that will change. My outgoings, I'm not going to do them until rollover day, but I will be happy to bring incomings in still, because I like doing my business early and having my players so that when rollover day happens, I can just get to work on those friendlies and crush it. But I forget what day it was, right? But it was last week at some point. I was just kind of had some leftover Disney dollars, about 50 quid or so. And I was just kind of generally spot checking the market for right wingers and just going in max price, just seeing what was there for, just to keep it simple. That's all we were doing. Nothing too ingenious. Just regular checking the market for who I could afford and is anyone available that would be interesting or whatever. And one day, I said, checked it a few times. There was a 75 rated guy sitting there at $49, $48, something like that. And he had just that morning from training got a +1 on his shooting and went from being 74 to 75. He tear broke. So I went and bought him. He's actually playing in ice, which is minging, right? Maybe actually be a good kind of example piece here. So let's put him on screen. So he's currently playing in ice. 4 games, 2 goals, 1 assist. He's played in the cup as well. Where did he play before? So in season 4, he was in Iron, the division I'm in now. Iron the year before that as well. Playing 18 and 20 matches, really low match scores here, as you can see. Season before that, Stone, so the division below me. And the year before that, Stone pushing for promotion. So he actually had quite a good season. Only 14 appearances, mainly cup games. Wow, 8 assists in 4 cup games is wild. So he's actually playing at the lowest level he's ever played at. And he's had one of the biggest series of progression he's had. So since I've picked him up, he's actually went up a further, I think it's like +3. If you look at current season again, progression, current season, overalls, +4 shooting he's had. So I got him when he got +1. I bought him, so I own him. He's only got a 2% ice contract, which is just minging. But he's went up a further +3 on shooting. He's 28. Now, when I bought him, I'm thinking I don't care if he's 29 when I get him, as long as he can complement that left winger. When he comes back from his loan year out, when his contract ends, I'll get these 2 wingers in, and then they can play a different system with the centre mids, the strikers, and everything else I've got. So I felt that was like a really good move, opportunistically, as it were, taking advantage of a tier breaker, taking advantage of a guy been on the market. It covers a position and a problem that I'm going to have later on. It's unavoidable. I will have problems with wingers if I want to bring that left winger in that we packed, our Scottish guy, which, we're going to need to bring him in at some point. And again, at 28, progressing, and it's significantly on a very important stat. This isn't just like his defenses went up or something that was already good, like passing, going from 85 to 87. This is a stat that going from it being 70 to 74, and let's see what it keeps on going, makes him a very dangerous player, a very attractive player as well. And when did he get born in? 24. His player ID is 50,000. So I've got a good chance of keeping him for a fair length of time when he does eventually get into the club, probably for season 6. And again, when you look at this, like the main progressors, like we've got some of the guys in the dev center that are younger, right? Fair enough. But in terms of the guys that are actually playing, the main progressors for me so far are the guys that are veterans. You know, they've been around the block. They know what they're doing. They know the game. And if we scroll down beyond the plus ones, we've got stats going up, of course. Casas, 91 physical now. Is incredible, by the way. This guy is my favourite player. He's on par with Nasser right now. But his stats are wildly frightening. I love the guy so much. Wagner, we mentioned before, at the age of 30, still progressing. Lecoq, cool. Hanka. And I think there was somebody else. Oh, look at Abba. Good season for him with Toby. These guys are all out on loan. Yeah, these are all kind of loan other guys. So it's good to see they're all doing kind of fine, kind of A-OK for the most part. But yeah, I do think that's one of the things with progressions. A lot of people have brought players in thinking, oh, he'll be a lot better sometime soon. And I did the same thing. I bought my very first 16-year-old. So I just thought, why not? I don't own a 16-year-old. I've never had a 16-year-old out of a packet or anything like that. So I bought him for €27 and I chucked him into Dev Center for 4 years. And I thought, for a guy at 48 rated, let's get 60 pace and 60 physical. He could be somebody. He could be somebody. So I'm guilty of it myself. But MFL is, it's not a fantasy game the way Sorare is or something else where it's like, oh, I'm going to take this guy on a journey through their career. Yeah, there's a bit of that, obviously, with that. But it's a game of football, you versus your opponent, who you've got today. And all that stuff is about who you've got for tomorrow. And that's not the priority. The priority is bagging MFL this season, winning leagues this season, getting cup runs and top goal scorers and all the rest of it. So I know there's a lot of galleries, a lot of clubs out there that have been like academy focused, wonder kid focused, age focused. And yeah, that's a great way to go. Good bang for buck, good ROI. But a guy at Klein at 28, Vandy at 29.72, 27 here for my left back. Like, I just think I've done a lot better with getting those kind of regular, guys, not regular, but those veterans, those guys that know what they're doing and are up to it already. So progression's been quite interesting for me in that sense that age is not everything, really, I think. Chat's been absolutely flying away, guys. So let me catch up with that. Up the crew, of course, that's where we left off. Sam D, 4-3-3, flat with 3 CMs. It seems to perform awesome at the moment. Nice. Great bit of intel there. And then there's a wee bit of chat on formations. Feel free to catch up with the live chat if you want to keep up to speed with that little mini chat we've got going on. I was catching up with the Go Fuck. I feel the need to clarify. I think individual. Oh, so of course, yeah, I are super important, but I think it's possible to do too much with them. Of course, and I wasn't like saying you're wrong or anything like that at that point. I was just more, when I heard you saying that, I actually just put a big smile on my face. And I'm like, that's amazing that, like, you could just have a totally different lens on it all. Like, I am the opposite. Like, every one of my tactics is individual instructions to the nth degree. In that members video, I go through in a bit more detail how I think about it, because I do think you're spot on, Josh, that you can like overcook the goose, or you can really just make a bit of a muddle of it. And I think, not to ruin the members video, but just to give you a kind of a piece on it, as it were, it's important to remember what the team strategy is as well. It's probably what I would just say is a little piece on it. So I think if you do your individual instructions, like you run through all these guys and you go direct and dribble more and pass conservative, you get this, you've got that, and then you don't think about that and you go and do your team instructions, you're going to be in a bother. And equally, if you do your team instructions first and then do your player instructions, you don't think about correlation between the two. Yeah, I'm definitely in your wheelhouse there, Josh, for sure. But it was just more that I put a smile on my face, and it's like, I love the fact that there's not consensus on stuff. Like, that's what I enjoy, because with content I listen to, MFL, Sorare, or anything else that's not even anything I do content myself on, perhaps, I'll only listen to people, or I'll enjoy more listening to people that I know when I click on the video, I've got no idea what they're going to be talking about. It's not just echo chamber vibes, or just the copy and paste, or just the narrative everyone's going with and whatever. So it was just more, I rather enjoyed it, but I did want to say, just like, it was more just like, yeah, I was surprised because I have got individual instructions on every tactic, on every player to the nth degree. And yeah, was it Nip on that stream or maybe on a call private or maybe one of his videos? He did mention this whole captain theory that he's had as well. I don't know how I think about it. I think, see, one thing I've noticed on captains, right, from teams I've played against, and I've tested this out for myself in friendlies and whatever. But if you have a defensive formation or you're defensively minded going into a game, captaining your defender is a must do. A must do. One thing I'll say on this at the moment with captains, because it has been a bit of a topic point over the last week or two, is around goalkeepers. So I think with the goalkeeper, as you can see here, you only get +2 defending, right? But the improvement to the goalkeeper is significant. It's a full +2 on him, like any other captain would get, obviously, right? But if you put the captain's armband anywhere else, the keeper is not going to get +2 passing and +1 dribbling. The keeper is not going to get +2 defense, +1 physical, and the goalkeeper isn't going to get +2, +1. So I think this is like a real park the bus strategy. If you need your goalkeeper to have the game of the season, you do that. You just give him that super boost. And the handicap for doing that is losing the physical boost you would get from the defender. I think that's a kind of obvious thing, of course, right? But I think the main reason you would do this is you need your keeper to step up. Maybe you've cheaped out on a goalkeeper. Maybe your goalkeeper is 80 rated like mine, but maybe he's the worst goalkeeper in the league. Maybe you're an ice, stone, spark. Your goalkeeper is 65, 71, and everyone is putting goals past you, or everyone else's goalkeeper is better than yours, whatever. Rather than buying a new keeper, could be a decent way to just bridge the gap in the short-term basis. But I don't think it's a strategy you should be doing beyond a one-off match or to make up a gap. For example, when I rotate my backup goalkeeper in, there's a good chance I captain him just to make sure he's not he's 71, so it's just to try and mitigate that drop down from first choice to second choice. I might do that. Let's see how it goes. But I like that I like those wee conspiracies of maybe they don't do as much or whatever. Because actually, I captained Casas in this game to captain a defender to make sure we're nice and tight. And he actually didn't do that great. And Casas is normally our boy. So let's look at this. Is that the worst game he's played this season? It is. Not by much. There's another game it was close. That's the worst game he's played with the captain's armband. He has had other games, obviously, but he's maybe not done as good. But last season, yeah, he's capable of having a bad game once in a while, but that's a funny correlation to see there. I'm normally quite consistent on my captains, so I don't normally feel it, to be honest with you, too much. But I've noticed, I've heard someone saying that somewhere. It might have been the call, my stream, Nep's video, your video, perhaps. I've definitely heard someone else say it, so it's been in the back of my mind to kind of look at it. Just be mindful of it, I suppose. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that, but I don't know if I've got enough information to build that from. Maybe we would need a lot of community engagement for that. I'm up for doing that if we could make it possible. If you want an old progressor, check out Thomas Zurita. That sounds fun. Let's have a peek at him. T. Yeah, definitely T. 29. Is it this guy? Oh, wow. Let's do that again. Let's do that again. Right, you ready, guys? Watch this graph. Wow. Prime age, guys. Prime age. Fair play to him. Everton's straight up, isn't it? Fair play. That is a belter, by the way. Great find, Josh. To Max, I've got one more thing I wanted to touch on. It was agency action. So I'll chill out with you guys in the chat for a minute. Catch up with you, and then we'll move on to the next kind of segment I had planned out for the stream. To maximize outgoings is best waiting until late. Yeah, that's what I kind of knew that from other seasons gone by, but I was just impatient and I just wanted everything done so I could just get into friendlies. Didn't want to be dealing with market activity, but it's definitely cost me, I think, some MFL, some rev share. Yeah, and you're spot on there, Rob, with your observation. I'm totally with you on that. Yeah, agreed. Jimbo! Good to see you, mate. Fist bumps on arrival for you. I have a very good looking 47 rated 17-year-old in my dev center. He hasn't gone up at all as of yet. Yeah, so I'm going to have my first guy out of the dev center from a 4-year stint, or dev jail. Since Jimbo's in the house, we can use his patter. Dev jail. And it's our boy here, Colin McRae. If you look at his progression, it's not been that wild. Again, it depends what they've got in the tank, really, doesn't it? And I know just from watching players in Dev Center, like it's not, even though they're in Dev Center and you would think it might be mechanical, that it will just slowly like burn out their progression in regular increments. It doesn't. I think this guy Koolman has been a pretty good progressor, and it's not been completely linear. Again, he's been in Dev Center for a little while, and yeah, sometimes it goes up, sometimes it doesn't. It kind of balances out, I think, over the piece a bit more as an average. Is there anyone else on like 3 seasons? No, it's just the 2s. Goalkeepers obviously is a bit different. This Nomenko guy as well, he's probably a good example because I think he's been progressing a lot more recently. He's been in the dev center for a while, and I think the first 2 seasons he didn't really feel like he was progressing much, but last year and into this year, his progression, it feels like it's happening a lot more like upwards. You know, it's happening. So yeah, dev center is not a linear thing either. Is now a good time to start MFL, Quinny? I think getting in the sooner the better. Now, in terms of, so it's obviously great to come in and start playing like season 5 or season 6, right? But there is so much teething to do, like building your team, building your club, naming it, branding it, and all the rest of it. And you want to take your time with that. And as well, MFL have just opened up a Redemption Cup. So this is for people that have missed out on the season. So you can play against other. Registration is open for another 4 days. If you are going to sign up, if you haven't done so already, of course, link is in the description in the video. But this is a cup competition where you'll take on only other people that are not in the league. And then they'll probably do something in the second half of the season as well. They regularly do this for latecomers and late joiners. And this is good, like, testing ground. Maybe not quite a pre-season, it's maybe a bit more serious than that, but it helps you kind of cut your teeth, learn the ropes, so that when you get to season 6, Benny, if you're to sign up today, tomorrow, at some point before the Redemption Cup, certainly, you'll be better equipped going into season 6 rather than, oh, I'll just wait till the end of the season. Because, yeah, you'll be in the whirlwind of the market going mental and what's this, what's that, how good do I need someone to be? You know, like you'll then just be a wee bit further behind the learning curve. So kind of the sooner the better, but that's not in like a sense of urgency thing. It's just there's actually like you can chill out and really enjoy your first couple of weeks playing part-time, as it were. And yeah, I love hearing that, by the way. I love hearing it. I came in trying to copy my FM tactics and quickly realised it's a totally different engine. Yeah. Oh, fair enough. Lisa, so we're on YouTube and Twitch. Sometimes go on Twitter as well, but not often for streaming. So yeah, a little bit. I've often captained the striker, but I've never really captained midfielders. So, or no, actually, I tell a lie. The first 2 seasons, I captained Mooney and attacking mid all the time because he was like the lowest rated good player I had, and I wanted him to be better. So I've actually felt that. I've just more felt he got a benefit. Wasn't really too aware of the team benefit. You play football? Sadly, not anymore, Lisa. I've just got a wee bit too lazy, to be quite honest with you. But I did, and I do, and I coach, and I play games. I did coach as well before COVID and stuff. So goalkeeper is only got 1 rating, since we're doing a wee bit of an FAQ or an AMA type thing. So an 80 rated goalkeeper is just an 80 rated goalkeeper, so on and so forth. Height does play, is in MFL's words, from what I'm led to believe they've said on Discords and places like that, it has a minor impact at the moment, but it's not a huge thing. But it is a thing. It does play a part. It's just not a huge part. So height and rating is kind of the only thing to look at, to be honest. I think it's worth it in certain situations. I don't think it's a regular tactic. I don't think it's something you would run throughout the full season. But Like if I know it's last game of the season and I just need to not lose or not or get a draw or something, like there's viability to it in the right place because getting a goalkeeper to go up +2 is significant. Like last year, I had a 77 rated goalkeeper and the best keeper in the league. Oh, how can we look at this again? How can we look at this again? Let's find someone we had last year. It's probably the easiest way of going about it. Casas, of course. Right, so let's look at him. And then can we find this? Easy enough, I wonder. Yeah. No. I think I maybe need to do it on my page here, don't I? And then from here, brilliant. So the best goalkeeper last year was this guy, rated 74. My goalkeeper was rated 77, right? And if the average of like, imagine I didn't have this guy, even the best keeper, there's a 76, there's an 80. Wow. I would not be surprised if this guy captained his keeper, by the way, the whole season. Really wouldn't. But as you can see here, like that guy's goalkeeper is actually like way behind par, I think, for the league. They just about scaved off promotion and playing them again this year. I was going to look at a random game. There's one there for him where they won 1-0. He didn't. The guy played a blinder, but I think it's a great, for an individual game, it's a great upgrade thing to do in the right space. I wonder, I don't want to go through all of his games, but I wonder if he did captain that keeper a few times. Maybe it was a better defensive play. Yeah, I think like at 6 foot's the benchmark, isn't it? No, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to the chat. Jimbo with the fist bump, of course. A completely fresh card has 0 XP to start with, so you can't expect them to gain levels immediately. You can't, but they can't. It really, yeah. That's a good point as well. Like, there's guys that start off on 0, of course. Yeah. I've had that guy Kongar on 0 just pop straight away, though. So it's like, yeah, every player is totally different. It's kind of the moral of the story there. And I don't know of any way to see XP. I don't think anyone even knows the XP numbers. Like, you know, what is, you know, because all the things in the white paper is percentage based. 80% of XP available, 110% of XP available, that sort of thing. I do think there's maybe underlying potential for that, but it's not there at the moment. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if he has all those defenders at 80. Let's go and double check that again. No, look at that. This is an iron. We find another one of his games just for banter. There we go. Against the top of the league, right? Is he captained the keeper here? No, he didn't. He actually captain. No. He's over here. Captain's attacking mid. And his defense. Wow. Maybe he was just super busy. In terms of the goalkeeper, just a lot of actions, lots of saves and stuff. Yeah, you're right, Josh. You got to just like accept what you know and then try and figure out what you're looking at every day and every week, I think. Looking for food, great question, right? So, in terms of the dev center, I will put players in here that I don't think, and bear in mind, I put some of these guys in before the Spark League existed. So, since the Spark League has existed, I've put in Fisser, this guy. I don't think he's got any really that good stats, to be honest with you. Although I do like dribbling and physical where they're at. Melander, this guy. Cervera, the little 16-year-old, of course, 48 rated, and then Wang, a guy I got out of a pack or whatever, 45 rated. So I'll put them in there if there is no hope or little hope, in my opinion, that they can play for a team that won't get stuffed. If they're going to play for a team, the team better be good, or they better be good. If they're not any good and the team's going to play them, the team is probably shit. And that means they're probably going to lose all the time. And that probably means the guy's not going to get much match XP and all that stuff as well. If he's like 48 rated, 46 rated, he's not going to be in the best 16. He's going to be below everyone else by quite a significant margin. So he's not even going to get the most training XP. Whereas when you put them into the dev center, you're guaranteed for the 4 seasons, 120%. So if I don't think the guy can play well, I'm just going to either list them for sale or dev center if they're young. It's kind of the bottom line on it for me. Good strategy, mate. Good luck with that. I had somebody like that I picked up that hadn't played much, and they did really well for me quite quickly. I can't remember who it was now, but I like that. As long as they've got the training XP, yeah, they should have a lot of underlying. They should have some XP built up, and then that will maybe push them over the top. I'll be looking forward to seeing how that pans out for you, mate. Focusing on the Cup of the League. I'm trying to do both, but yeah, I think like for most people, you do need to kind of pick one. I've not tested that out. FC Barcelona, I see it on so many of the streams, but we don't do crossing here. We don't really like crossing. So yeah, it's not something I've tested. Yeah, so if you're going to send them out on loan, yeah, you'll get some rev share. But like these guys, what rev share do they get? I'll show you what they get. Look at my HQ players. Can we go contracts? Yeah, we can. And then we can do it by percentage. So like the shit guys here, Picard, 47, 1% in Spark. Yeehaw. Richard, 54 rated, 1.5% in Spark. Yeehaw. You know, like these are not, like, who cares really? Maybe you do because you're brand new and you're just starting out, right? I get that, fine. But that 1%, and then this guy is probably never going to play. He's probably so far below everyone else in the squad that even the training XP is forgettable, really. I just really don't care about this guy, to be honest with you. I'm not putting him in the dev center. It's kind of where I was at with this individual, where it's like he's 26. I'm not dev centering this guy. We'll just loan him out till he dies, essentially. But I think this guy might have been the same. Yeah, 26. So I'm not going to bother with that. I'll just put them out there. But younger guys that can play, let's put them into squads. Because again, if we look at the progression, current season, we've had Benitez and Spark. We've had Cordoba and Spark. These guys are 22 and 23 at good ratings. Spark again, 25-year-old. Some dev center guys. We're talking about dev center development. This is this season so far. We've got a +1 on Coolman, a few +2s and stuff like that, which is cool. So yeah, if they can't play and stuff like that, then that's generally why I'll throw them in. So Ali McOveen, this is a great question. And my answer to that is both, right? So when I brought in Faustino, like I mentioned before, like I was looking at a little bit of housekeeping I was doing, was I was looking at attributes. I was looking at my defenders. I was probably better doing this on the agency because you can see everyone that I was kind of looking at. Centre back attributes. And then I went to pace. And I didn't have Ivanov, right? The quickest defender in my club was a 64 rated guy that I never play, you know? So I was looking at my defenders going, wow, they are all slow as fuck. So the higher division, I got this guy for coming into the division that I'm in at the moment. I just needed pace. But it can't just have pace. It also has to be a good defender. So to fix a problem, a guy like this is exactly who I wanted, who I needed, and he's worked out very, very well. He is only 5'8", by the way, since we've been mentioning height a few times, so quite a diminutive centre back. But he's Brazilian. He likes to bite ankles. That's what he's all about. But for also this season in midfield, I did really want someone who's very well rounded, like Vandy here, who's just like a good operator. If he's in the box, he's going to finish. Yeah, maybe his defending could be a little bit better, but with the dribbling and physical where it's at, I don't think it's too much of a problem for centre mid to have sub 70 defence in this kind of situation. So you kind of need both in some ways. Again, Abba, who's doing a very good job for Toby, 81 passing for a 70 rated player, and he's been doing, by all accounts, pretty solid, pretty good. You need those guys, I think, in some positions, depend on your tactics and your priorities for how you want to play. Bodnarenko was another one of those guys I brought in to play Stone, where I wanted a centre mid that had, see all the stats that you see here, 81 defence, the defence, the physical, the passing. I programmed them all in. This left back came up, who can also play centre mid, and he did for me. He was brilliant in Stone, in centre mid. Even though he got a mad handicap, he's 71 rated now, and at centre mid, I think he's like 64, like loses like -7 or something. Still did amazing because it's a green dot. I think there's a big thing in that. Even though the minus does take off all their stats, I think if it's for a green position, it's not that bad, in my experience anyway, with Bodnarenko here, who had his best season of his career at centre mid in Stone. Season 1, look at this, 6.9, played 20 games in Stone. The season after that, 7.2, 13 games in Stone. Then it comes to Bartlett. But look at this, 2 assists, no goals. Comes to me, plays in midfield, gets 14 assists and 4 goals from centre mid playing in Stone, or Stone on the way up, and that includes the cup and the playoffs as well. So, and again, his main stats was pace, defense, and passing were all like in good equilibrium with one another. So I think you need to have a little bit of both, where you need like good defenders that are just good defenders. But once you've got your average guys, your guys that are well rounded, you'll see, like I did with my defenders, like, oh shit, none of them are fast. Like, or if we look at, let's just look at the midfielders and then look at attributes. Again, if I look at defense, before, like, ignore Trejo, we're on agency, so we've got some guys that are loaned out, but you'll be able to see the point anyway. Before Herbst and Hanka, I didn't have any midfielder. Look at this. This is centre backs that can play in centre mid. Some of these guys didn't exist at the time. Mooney was my highest rated defensive statistic for a midfielder, and he only plays cam. Now, I will actually say he was amazing and still is amazing when I watch his highlights at winning the ball back higher up the pitch. So, as a soft statistic, defense for attacking mids is OP, by the way. If you get them to engage and stuff like that, they actually win the ball back, it could be quite powerful. So again, when I notice that, I then make sure I go and get some guys with big physical stats, big defensive stats to compensate then after. So you need both, is what I would kind of say. They've not even had a club. Oh, wow. Okay, so not even the training XP. Hopefully that's delayed their... I wonder if that could even add longevity to them, if they've been completely idle. Kind of like a Craig Gordon thing. If any of you know Craig Gordon, like, he went to Sunderland for big money from Hearts, and then he got a really bad injury. And then he basically retired. Like, he didn't play football for like 3 years, 2 years or something. And he's still playing now at 40, 41. So I wonder if there's that kind of element that maybe comes into it with some of those guys. That's a great point from Josh. I'll put that on screen about cups and leagues. No, I don't mind. I don't mind the league structure where it sits now. What Rob means by this is, like, I had very much the same league last year. Some players get relegated, some got promoted, but everyone else, we're all still together here. And if I did get promoted, I would probably find the same clubs promoted up the ladder that were in my league before. I like that. to be honest with you. I've not got much of a problem with it. If you are screwed for a season, you're screwed for a season. Those guys will get promoted. They'll go away. And then you can build and recalibrate for next year. Don't sleep on a 26-year-old in the dev center. Fair enough. Fair enough. Wow. That is some story, Ron. I love that, by the way. That is amazing. Training progression normally happens at 10:30 UK time in the morning. I wonder, I've not even checked mine for today. Just say 8 hours. No progression. After a nice win last night, no progression in training this morning. Wonder about the agency. So I was going to look at agency action with these. I've kind of run for a little bit of just AMA effort, which is good fun, but I just did the last 24 hours in case there was any last night of their games. The last quiz in the dev center. Klein, we spoke about him before. Riger, that's good to see. Poveda, love that. Martinique. You're a Sunderland fan, Rob, aren't you? SA Sunderland? No, that's SA Sun. No, that's not Sunderland, is it? Sunderland aren't Sunderland Athletic or whatever, are they? SAFC makes me think of Sunderland. Love that. Okay, we'll do the agency action stuff, right? Because that's the last thing I did want to do in the stream and the show with you today. There's a bunch of you tuning in, by the way, on YouTube and Twitch. So thanks to you all. Please do hit the like button if you haven't done so already, of course. And feel free to get into the chat and let me know thoughts and feelings. So I kind of showed you already what's going on with Livingston and Klein for next season. So already in the agency, through a card that I've packed and then a card that I've bought who's already loaned out, I've kind of got a solution for next season already in the works, which is great. But one of the things I'm really enjoying watching with this agency angle of the game is not really necessarily, the player development, of course, but because I've only got one club right now, I suspect most of you guys have one club. Everyone, I would probably go on a limb to say everyone starts with one club. So that's one of the things I always like doing with the content here on the channel, whether it be So Rare or MFL, is like, yeah, I thought it was Sunderland. Yeah. Yeah, Charlie, they get the progress, like you'll see it here in the dev center. Like it'll happen. You'll see it on the page for the individual statistics as well as the overall. But when you're building the agency, as it were, like I'm at that point now where a second club just makes a lot of sense. So I'm really enjoying at this point watching the players I've got performing, who they're playing for, how they're doing, etc. And I must say, I've had a lot of fun with that so far this year. There were some ones I wanted to point out. This guy Cordoba has been a wildly good progressor for me. I got him at 18. He's 55 rated. He's been loaned out the entire time. And I think Roost to Riches is where he's played the entire time. Just go to double check that. It is. So I've just let this guy auto renew every year. He plays him. And he's been doing pretty well. So that's been fun to kind of watch and see his progression. Nice wee young Spanish fullback coming through the ranks, as it were. Mooney has been on loan back into Stone or Ice, I think it might be. Ice, yeah. 2 goals, 4 assists in 8 games. He's been absolutely ripping it. And I think, it's maybe one of the points to make in this one is making sure, like, Mooney, like, this guy could have gotten into a few different divisions, but I wanted him to go back into Ice because I had him in Ice. I know how well he done. He's never progressed since I've owned him. He's 26. Maybe he's still got time to do it, whatever. But it then just means hopefully they finish higher in the table so that percentage on the league just becomes a bit of a better payout. Now we've got Gdansk Mariners here. They've taken 3 of my players in on loan this year, and they're sitting second, which is great because the players they've taken from me have been 2 defenders, Riger and Kaiser, and a CDM. If we look at performance, Guendouzi's one of his best players. That's funny to see. But Riger's up there. Riger's up there doing well. Kaiser's doing okay. And Will has been red carded twice. He's got 2 suspensions. Big Will. Big Will. Never change, big man. Never change. So that's fun. They're going to maybe win the league. We've got Fort Leo, who've got 3 of our players as well, which is Toby's team. They won the cup last year as well, so well done to them. And they're right in the title race again this year, so that's good to see for me. And Toby has done a pretty good job at looking after my guys, certainly. If you look at the average ratings across the squad, Abba and Quintana, 2 of my boys, 2 of his top performers. Zeller has played 4 out of the 7 games available, it looks like. Performed pretty well as well. 2 assists for him. That's a buzz. And part of this is me formulating now who could be the guys that come into the next clubs I open up in my little footballing group network, as it were. Because I do think the whole point of when you get to this stage where your first team is the second team should be just to gain more, MFL, because all these contracts, like, Toby's giving me good deals and stuff like that. So is Gdansk and all these guys. I'm getting fair percentages on them all. None of them are wildly good or bad, but they don't add up to 100, in the different leagues that they're in. And the best way to get 100 in any of these leagues is to have a team and run it yourself. Who did I have down there on 10%? Oh, Benitez, the keeper. How's he doing? Please win your league. Please win your league with my goalkeeper. Oh, he's top. Only 1 goal conceded. Oh, could Big Benitez go on to maybe win a Golden Glove? Oh, he's in pole position for it. Oh, that would be a buzz, by the way. That would be a buzz. This is a goalkeeper I bought, not really thinking about, like, he might never be better than a 72 or whatever. 23, he was really young when I bought him, maybe 21, 6'2". And since I've had him out on loan, he was my backup keeper in the cup, didn't progress much, but I loaned him out last season and loaned him out this year. He's progressing quite nicely. So that's a buzz. 10%. Might even win the division. That's brilliant. Nasser, we can chat about in a wee second, because I seen he scored his first goal earlier. This and Timo, well, Livingston, we've seen how good he was doing before. I think there's many other kind of main talking points other than Nasser, because Nasser has been one of those players that often divides me in the live chat, because when I've been keeping Nasser and using him this whole time, you guys have been telling me, you're ruining him. He's not going to get progression. You need to loan him out. Blah, 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 blah. So we loaned him out to a really good team, a few divisions up. He's in silver. And he's only just scored his first goal. He's actually been shit. Like, look at that. 5.7, 5.8, 6.2. Fair enough, the games weren't great. But even in this one, 7.6, he got a goal. They lost. But at least he scored, thankfully. But no progression. No progression there, even though he's in this perfect environment. Needs those match ratings to come along a little bit as well. But good to see he's broke his duct in Paraguay. And hopefully he's acclimatized now. Probably not going to win a golden boot for this team. But as long as he can keep playing and scoring. He's not played every game. The other striker's actually been doing pretty well. But he's scored against top of the league. That's a good sign. And yeah, no progression yet for him. Oh, we're on a different page now. But yeah, Basil Dons, who is a friend of the channel, Ali, he's got 4 of our guys here. Actually, I think I got a message from Ali the other day. I didn't pick it up. I'm not on Facebook much. That's kind of where he mainly talks to me. Sorry, Ali, if you're listening. And third, love that. And then if we look at the squad, performance, average rating. German Lopez has played 2 games and done okay. Thomas Muller played 2 games, done okay. Poveda played 5 games, 2 goals, 2 assists. He is rinsing it. Morel, the fastest defender I had in my club at one point. He's played all the games, done well. That's good to see. Hopefully we get a few of them promoted. And then, it's a wee bit, I don't know if justification, validation is the word I'm after. That if I did take a bunch of these guys and run them into Spark and Ice or wherever we go, they'll be competitive. And it's just about trying to work out between now and the end of the season, positions that are available, positions that need covered, and trying to work it out from there. But the agency action has been really good fun to watch in terms of, like, I normally catch a lot of these goals and assists that come in. Because after I've watched my own game, I'll go to schedule. And then when it loads, I'll hit past. And then you can see all the stuff you guys have been up to. And it looks like there's been a lot of friendlies this morning here for Antimo and Kairos Elysium. So we're going to ignore that. Yeah, this is all friendly stuff. So last night, Jesus, man, a lot of friendlies between these guys. Jesus, spamming my page up there. But then from here, I'll go and I'll click in and I'll have a look and see who's did what. So if we can see someone we liked again, like Toby's team. Toby lost 2-0, maybe not that one today. Basel Dons. Let's go and have a look at them. So they won 3-0. We'll come in. He's played Muller. He's played Lopez. Wow, look at Lopez, by the way. Right mid. He gets a +3 for playing right wing. Wow. I've not seen this one, actually. This is breaking news for me. So let's see. Where did he get his goals and stuff? So Muller gets an assist for him in the 11th minute, and he scores a goal on the 42nd. So we just need to see the first 2 goals to see how our boys have did in this game, really. So Basel Dons in the blue. Thomas Muller taking corners. Wow. Didn't know he had it in him. Lopez there with the wee back step header. You know, just getting a wee knock on it. Love that. Good link-up play from the boys. And then, a wee bit of a counter-attack action here, maybe. Winning the ball back from the keeper. Ball played in the channel. German Lopez knows where the back of the net is. Love that. So I've really enjoyed keeping up with that this year because I've had a lot of good players going out into... Not good. I've had players going out into good teams that are, you know, building good formations and building good tactics and whatnot. I think we need to look at Nasser's first goal. So let's have a wee peek at that. Probably was the worst page to go on to find it right enough. We should have probably just went to him directly. There we go. And when did they score? So, yeah, they went 1 each, by the way. So Nasser brought the team back into it, but against top of the table as well. Tough game, tight game as well. Oh, that's the Nasser we love. That's the Nasser we love. Peeling into the space. And then a wee rocket. Love that. Love that. Yeah, Rob, I'm with you all the way on that. I find it hard to judge if it's better to get a second team or just loan them all out. Can you get more than 100% out of the guys you're going to loan out? And how well will they do? Will some of them be at bottom teams? Will some of them play ever? I think there'll come a point where you will get a second club. I'm in season 5, and I'll be doing it for season 6. You know, I don't think this is something that you need to rush into. And again, it's something I was saying with Doge Sports when we were hanging out at the weekend, but I've really enjoyed just running with one team this whole time and just being like really dialed in to the tactics, the players. I've got what I need and trying to optimize FC Barcelona to the nth degree, where I feel comfortable now that I could take on a second team, even a third team with the community, and we would be able to maintain those same standards. Well, needed a little time off. Yeah. Definitely needed some time off there, getting 2 red cards. He's away partying for the summer, isn't he? I was going to show something else there, and I've just slipped it at the back of my head. Oh, yeah. We did play a game last night against the Solaris Drifters, and we got back to winning ways. We got a 2-0 win, so I thought I would just show you the goals. And then I'll see if there's anything else in the chat, and then we'll just probably wrap up about there, guys. I've had good fun catching up with these for season 5 so far. But look at this from Collar, down the right-hand side, and he keeps going. It wasn't just this first goal. Makes me so happy because Vandy, second best finisher in the club, coming from midfield, poking in our goal home before we get the big man eventually popping up, getting another goal on the board for him, leading the line. Nice little scrummage. Play the channel. Like, oh, Some nice goals for us on that. I wonder how we're actually sitting in the table at the moment for like scorers and assist makers and stuff. I've not really checked that out. So scorers, Lecoq is in amongst it. Pass masters, Vandy is in amongst it. And goalkeepers, I think I should be closer than that. Santander, Black Ops LR, your goalkeeper's flying high, mate. Maybe it's something to do with goalkeepers being busy. Obviously, they're getting more points because they're making more saves and stuff. But yeah, this season here it says I've got 19% rev share, but I don't because some of that's on the clauses, as you know. So I'm only going to give away 11% this season, which is nice. I'll keep more of my MFL this season. Last year I was giving away 40% of my Iron MFL, which was okay. I didn't mind doing it, but this year's also a bit of a sea change, and we want to keep more of that MFL in the club. If we do a little bit better in the league, if the agency hustles for us a bit harder, like I'm really optimistic. We've got a big barrel load of MFL come to us for the end of the season. And really, with the Klein thing I mentioned earlier, we get Nasser back as well in the summer. I maybe don't need to do too much to upgrade if I get promoted. Certainly, if I stay in the same division, I do not need to do a thing. Yeah, they need to be active. Clean sheets are a big thing, I think, as well. But I think activity is a main power driver there, Victor. I think we're both in alignment there. So, yeah, anything else? I think those were the main points I wanted to talk about. Was engine and tactics, progression stuff, and then agency action. And we've kind of got into a lot of other bits and bobs besides, which has been good crack. And at 3 o'clock, we'll have the breakdown to the Sorare AMA out, my kind of live reaction and breakdown stuff. I hope you enjoy that. For any of you that are Sorare minded, of course. And yeah, I'm pretty much up to speed. We've got a game tonight, guys. We are going against our old derby, our old enemy, Edinburgh Pirates, who were one of the teams that took points off of us on our promotion push last year after we destroyed them on the first game of the season last year. So we're going back to their place. We're after revenge against Anike here. And wish me luck for that tonight. We won't be, Champions League and stuff, so we won't be live for that tonight. Santander, oh, that's tomorrow. We'll maybe go live for that because that's a wee bit of community action, me versus Black Ops LR off the back of a cup game. We'll have lineup builder to do for members. We'll probably do the lineup builder kind of afternoon time, and we'll maybe come back and watch me versus Black Ops tomorrow. But yeah, I think that's about the size of it, guys. If you had a Spark team at the end of the season, would you spend your MFL on a cheap player pack or save up for a few seasons? Good question. Good question. So I've kind of saved my MFL from this season. I didn't really buy any packs because the last couple of packs I got ABBA out of one, which was 69 rated, and I was really disappointed with that for the league I was in. And then I got Fleming. I was really disappointed in that for the level I was at and whatever. And then for that Livingston, I bought a rare player pack. It was like $150 of Disney dollars, and I was much happier getting a blue player. So I think, like, if you're in the lower leagues, can you save up to an uncommon player? I don't know what your yield will be like. That might take a few seasons, but I'd be certainly more inclined to go for the limited player over the common player if you've got the funds for it. And even if that's saving up, if you do get like 2,000 MFL this year, maybe dev center a guy or two if you wanted, and then keep the rest for next year or something. Common packs had the best value-wise. Wow. Really? 100% common? For the reward packs, you talking about the ones you buy with money? I think for the ones you buy with money, you might be right there because you get the chance to go up not a tier breaker, but you can get lucky and pull guys up the food chain. But with these reward packs, I don't think that's possible for any of them. Yeah, 100% guaranteed you're getting what's on the tin with those ones. I don't think I can buy any of them, can I? Yeah. Yeah, like this kind of thing. You get chances of other players in them. Don't normally have my phone not in silent there. I absolutely shat it. Andy Harrogate, good afternoon to you as well, mate. I think you've caught us right at the very end. Great to see you as always. I'm not sure I've got much left to go over. We've been running for 99 minutes. YouTube is telling me it might be a wee bit longer. Yeah, no, it's 99 minutes. So, yeah, I think I'm out of puff. I think I've kind of went over everything I had planned on. We went over some other stuff as well, which you guys had some great contributions in the show today to make it all the more interesting and detailed. We went into some nice stuff as well. And we had the good and the great, the community joining us in the chat as well. We had Jimbo, we had Josh, Sam D. We've not seen you in a while. Of course, all the regulars like Charlie and Rico Man and Rob C. And the chat was popping. Michael Cairns was here. Super Kickers pushing the like button for us all. Simon Davis with some of the intel as well. Pop that back on screen in case she's missed it earlier. And Clubsy, Tatos, Wayne, of course, ER, AVFC, and yeah, lots of heroes and legends joining us today. I've had a great time with you all on YouTube and Twitch. Ron, how could I miss you out as well? Great contributions from you and Victor. So yeah, thanks everyone that's tuned in today. And we'll be back to watch me versus Black Ops LR probably tomorrow night. And yeah, all the usual content will be out as you would expect it to be. Enjoy the rest of Season 5, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.